Okay, guys, please see. Now, three more sections I am saying. All these three sections we are supposed to do together. Okay. One is 194D, one is 194G, and one is 194H. D, G, and H. These three sections talk about commission. Okay. This is insurance commission. This is commission on sale of lottery tickets and any other commission and brokerage. Three commissions. Okay. This commission has to be paid to any resident. So who is the payee receiving this commission? Any resident. Who will give the insurance commission? Insurance commission will be given by insurance company. Insurance company will give the insurance commission. Then who will give the commission on sale of lottery tickets? That lottery organizer whose lotteries you are selling. So you are a lottery seller selling the lottery tickets of any lottery organizer. So that lottery organizer will give you commission on sale of lottery tickets of that organizer. Or any other commission can also be there. Yes or no? Now all these commissions are received by any resident. Okay. So on this commission, TDS will come under section 194D at the rate of, what is the rate, guys? 2%? Yes or no? Or 5%? 2%? Okay. Earlier the rate was 5%, but the rate is what? 2% now. Okay. So any lottery commission, any commission, the TDS will be at the rate of 2%. TDS will be deducted at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier. If the aggregate amount of commission is greater than 20,000 rupees. How much is the aggregate amount of commission? Greater than 20,000. So if the commission is given during the year to that resident, okay, and the amount of that commission, aggregate amount of that commission during the previous year is more than 20,000, then on that entire commission amount, TDS has to be deducted at the rate of 2%. The TDS will be deducted at the time of payment or credit of that commission, whichever happens earlier. Three sections done. Will you remember this much? Now see, up till last year, the rate was, the threshold limit was only 15,000. So this year, the threshold limit has been changed for these three sections. Earlier it was only 15,000. Up to 15,000, there was no TDS. And if the commission used to be more than 15,000, then there was a TDS earlier. But that 15,000 threshold has been changed from this year, and now the limit is 20,000. So for these three sections also, the threshold has changed. So these three sections are also important, especially that 194H. Okay. So any type of commission or a brokerage is there. On that, the TDS will come at the rate of 2% at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier. Now here now in 194H, there are two exceptions which you are supposed to keep in mind. See, any commission received by BSNL or MTNL franchisees. So BSNL or MTNL will also pay the commission to their franchisees for, placing the PCOs, placing the phone at their premises. So PCO franchisees earlier, see, right now this type of system is not there, but in our times when we were young, That time we used to make calls through those PCOs. I don't know whether you have seen those PCOs or not. 1 rupee coin you are supposed to put in the red colored telephone box. 1 rupee if you put, and you can call someone from that PCO booth, and you can talk for 1 minute. So the person who has kept that telephone box, the person who has kept that telephone box is known as what? PCO franchisee. So to keep that, to place that box over there, to run that PCO on behalf of BSNL or MTNL, those PCO franchisees used to get what? Commission. So on that PCO franchisee, whatever commission is there, which is given by BSNL or MTNL, on that there will be no TDS. 194H not applicable there. Okay, so that is first exception. Second exception, if you know that we normally pay brokerage at the time of buying and selling the securities through stock exchange. Yes or no? We are buying and selling the shares, securities on the stock exchange through our brokers, no? Zerodha is there, Sharekhan is there, Upstocks is there, then Angel Broking is there. These are what? Brokers. So these brokers will place the buying calls, selling calls on the stock exchange on our behalf. So for that they charge commission from us. So that commission which is paid to these brokers for sale of securities, shares and securities, on that commission also there is no TDS under section 194H. So you have to remember these two exceptions. Commission paid to BSNL MTNL franchisee, on that commission also there will be no TDS. Second, any commission or brokerage paid to brokers for buying and selling of securities, on that also there will be no TDS. 194H will not be applicable, and 194H will be applicable if the payer is any person other than, do you remember, individual or HUF, whose last year business turnover was not more than 1 crore, whose last year's gross receipt from the profession was not more than 50 lakhs. So any individual or HUF making the payment of commission or brokerage, for these type of individuals or HUF, 194H will not be applicable. Yes or no? So these three sections, do it together, okay? Because the limits are same, rates are same, everything is same. Only the sections are different. That's it. Understood? Okay. Now see, after 194D, there is one more section, 194DA. So payer is making the payment. This payment is under a life insurance policy, and this payment is made to any payee. Payee has to be a resident. Okay, if you will go and check 194DA, okay, any sum under the life insurance policy, any sum under the life insurance policy, okay, no? So what sum is paid under the life insurance policy? If you remember, under the head IFOS we have already done. Death benefit is given, which is fully exempt under 1010D. Then under the life insurance policy, sometimes you receive pension also. If the policy is a pension policy, then that pension amount is taxable. Sometimes we get that maturity proceeds also. Life insurance policy is matured, and on maturity we receive maturity proceeds. So any payment which you are receiving under a life insurance policy, but that payment should not be exempt under section 1010D. Meaning, if you remember that we are paying, we are receiving maturity proceeds under a life insurance policy, and if we have paid the premiums for any year over and above the limit of 20%, limit of 10% was there, if you remember. So for any year, if the premium paid was above those limits, then the maturity proceeds will not be exempt, if you remember. So I am talking about those payments which are coming from life insurance company, life insurance policy. But that payment is not exempt under section 1010D. That payment is not exempt under 1010D. So on this payment also, the TDS will be deducted under section 194DA. Which section? 194DA at the rate of 2%. But this will be deducted, TDS will be deducted at the time of payment, if I am not wrong. Just let me confirm once. At the time of just a second now. At the time of payment, if I am not wrong. Yes, at the time of payment. So TDS at the rate of 2% at the time of payment. Now this TDS will be deducted if the payment is greater than or equal to 1 lakh. See, if the total amount coming to you, payment from the life insurance policy, if the total amount coming to you is less than 1 lakh, then there will be no TDS. 194DA will not be applicable. But if the total payment given to you under the life insurance policy is 1 lakh rupees or more, then TDS will be there. But this TDS will not be on the entire payment. TDS will be on the taxable amount. See, taxable amount can be any amount. You are not supposed to see that how much is the taxable amount, whether the taxable amount is 1 lakh or not. No. You are supposed to see that if the payment coming and that payment is not exempt under section 1010D, then check how much is the total payment coming. If the total payment is 1 lakh rupees or more, then TDS will be there. But the TDS will be there on the taxable amount. And you very well know that how much will be the taxable amount. Total amount coming minus the premiums for these many years. Whatever premiums you have paid, those premiums are coming back minus that amount. But only those premiums which are not allowed under the provisions of Income Tax Act. Those premium amounts you reduce and the balance amount which is taxable under the head IFOS. On that taxable amount, this TDS will be deducted. So total payment coming should be 1 lakh or less. Sorry, 1 lakh or more. Total payment coming should be 1 lakh rupees or more. Then TDS will be applicable. But TDS will be applicable on the entire amount? No, on the taxable amount. And what is the taxable amount? Total amount coming minus the premiums paid for the policy for these many years, which was not allowed under the provisions of Income Tax Act. So the amount of income which usually gets taxed under the head IFOS, on that taxable amount, this TDS will be deducted. At what rate? 2%. Will you remember this? Yes or no? 194DA, important, huh? This section is also good. Okay. Now see, after 194DA, 194E, double E, all these points are not there. Then 194G we have already done. Okay, no? Now 194H already done. 194I we are supposed to do, and 194IB. 2 sections. How many sections? 194I and 194IB. Okay. Now pay attention. 194I says rent. Rent meaning payment for use of any asset. Any asset. Okay. Which is nothing but rent. Okay. And here also we'll talk about rent only. but this will be for any immobile property only. Okay, sir. This will be any immobile property. So rent of any immobile property, and here rent of any asset, including immobile property. Now see, this payment is made by whom? Come on, tell me. Who will pay the rent? Rent will be paid by any person other than what? Individual or HUF, whose last year turnover in business less than equal to 1 crore, or gross receipt in profession less than equal to 50 lakhs. So you are any person making the payment of rent, but you should not be an individual or HUF. This type of individual or HUF. Yes or no? Now this rent you are paying to whom? The rent is paid to any resident person. Rent is paid to any resident person. I'll write it here. So this rent is paid to any resident person, any resident. So on this rent, TDS will be deducted under section 194I at the rate of 2%, or it can be at the rate of 10%. So there are two rates of TDS here also. Sometimes the TDS is at the rate of 2% and sometimes the TDS is at the rate of 10%. But this 2% will be rent of plant and machinery or equipments. So if you are making the payment of rent, and that rent you are paying for plant, machinery or equipment. So you have taken a plant and machinery or equipment on rent, and the rent for that plant and machinery you are paying, yes or no? Then for that rent, the TDS will be 2%. But if furniture or any immobile property is there, so for furniture or immobile property, the rate of TDS will be 10%. Okay. And this TDS will be at the time of payment or credit of monthly rent, whichever is earlier. So for every month rent will be paid, so the TDS will be deducted every month. Whenever the rent of that month is paid or credited, whichever happens earlier, at that time the TDS will be deducted. Done, no sir? Hello? Understanding? So here the threshold is also given. How much threshold is given? Please check. 194I. Somebody tell me how much is the threshold given? 50,000 per month. Yes or no? So if the rent for any asset per month rent is 50,000 or more, we are going to deduct the TDS from that rent whenever that rent will be paid or credited, whichever happens earlier. So monthly rent, whenever you will pay the monthly rent or whenever the monthly rent you will credit, whichever happens earlier, at that time every month you are going to deduct the TDS. Now up till last year, now this limit was per annum limit. Till last year this limit was 2,40,000 per annum. But from this year they have changed the limit. From 2,40,000 per annum, they are saying 50,000 per month. How much, sir? 50,000 per month. Can you see the section 194I? Everyone, please come to 194I. Okay. You will see 194I here. See, does not exceed 50,000. Meaning if the monthly rent is 50,000 or less, there will be no TDS. Earlier this limit was 2,40,000 per annum. So important amendment is there. This section can be there in the exam. Many times this section has come, and this time for this attempt this section is more important because the limit they have changed over here. Okay, so monthly rent of plant and machinery 50,000 or less, no TDS. But what if the monthly rent is more than 50,000? Then TDS has to be deducted. And what rate? 2%. Why? Because for plant and machinery the rate is 2%. Rent of plant and machinery, TDS is 2%. What if any other asset is there, like furniture is there? You are giving rent for furniture, or you are giving rent for any immobile property. Then also monthly rent should be more than 50,000. You are going to deduct TDS at the rate of 10%. Because for furniture and for immobile property, if the rent given is more than 50,000, the TDS rate will be 10%. So 2% for plant machinery equipment rent and 10% for furniture and immobile property. Okay, this is it. 194I is done. 194I is done. But remember, no TDS on GST component. Okay, so if there is a GST which you are charging along with the rent, then TDS will come only on the rent component, provided the GST is shown separately in the invoice. Okay, one, that GST point should click. Second point, second important point, see here now the TDS is deducted every month because the rent will be paid every month. Whenever we pay the rent, usually we pay the rent every month, no? So under section 194I, the TDS will be deducted every month whenever the rent of that month is paid or rent of that month is credited, whichever happens earlier. So TDS deduction will happen every month. Okay, and if you see 194I is not applicable, 194I is not applicable if you are an individual or HUF whose last year turnover is less than 1 crore or gross receipt is less than or equal to 50 lakhs. This is the case when 194I will not be applicable. Okay, no? Now pay attention, very important point. I am going to 194IA. Sorry, 194IB. What 194IB says, this section says that if you are an individual or HUF whose last year turnover in business was less than equal to 1 crore or last year gross receipt in profession was less than equal to 50 lakhs. So who is the payer? Payer is this individual. And this type of individual or HUF is now making the payment. Payment of what? Rent. So for you, 194I is not applicable because 194I excludes this type of payer. Hello. Are you an individual? Yes. HUF? Yes. Last year business turnover? Not more than 1 crore. Last year professions receipt? Not more than 50 lakhs. Oh, so 194I not applicable for you. So no problem. 194IB will be applicable on you. 194IB will be applicable on you if you are paying a rent to any resident. So the rent is paid to any resident, and that rent which you are paying to this resident is for any immobile property. So any individual or HUF whose last year's business turnover was not more than 1 crore, last year's professional receipt was not more than 50 lakhs, if that individual or HUF is making a payment of rent of immobile property in this year to any resident, and if that rent is more than 50,000 per month, so even this type of individual or HUF will be required to deduct the TDS, but not under 194I. He will deduct the TDS under section 194IB. Understanding? So payer is excluded from 194I, but this type of payer will be covered under 194IB. All the other payers will deduct TDS as per 194I. But if the payer is this type of person, then he will deduct the TDS under section 194IB. What was the threshold over here, guys? Threshold. If rent is greater than 50,000 per month. Rent is greater than 50,000 per month. Here also the same thing. But here the rent of any immobile property should be more than 50,000 per month. Then TDS under section 194 IB will come. And what is the rate of this TDS, guys? Please check. Is it 2%? Yes. Here also it is 2%. Yes or no? And when this TDS will be deducted? TDS will be deducted. Wait, let me check. It is 2% or 5%. Even I am a little bit 2%. Done? Okay. So the TDS under 194 IB will be at the rate of 2%. Now pay attention. This TDS will be deducted at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier. But payment or credit of rent for last month. Entire TDS will be deducted only once, not every month. One time TDS, one time tax deduction only. And that too also from the rent of the last month. So what is the last month of your previous year? March, no? Hello? So from the rent of that March month, only once the TDS will be deducted, but the TDS will be deducted on the rent of the entire year. Now for example, you are an individual or HUF. Last year business turnover was not more than 1 crore. Last year professional receipt was not more than 50 lakhs. And you have taken one immobile property on rent from me. Monthly rent is 1 lakh. Is the monthly rent more than 50,000? Have you taken the property on rent, immobile property on rent from April? Yes. Till March the property is on rent. So how much total rent you are going to pay for the year? See, monthly rent is more than 50. But the total rent for full year starting from April to March, 1 lakh into 12 lakh rupees rent is there. On that entire 12 lakh, 2% will be deducted. So calculate 2% of 12 lakhs. 12 lakh into 2% will give you how much? 24,000. So this 24,000 is the TDS on the rent of full year. But this TDS will be deducted only once. Only once. Unlike your 194I, where every month TDS will be paid, every month rent will be paid and every month TDS will be deducted. No, here under 194IB, rent of full year, calculate the TDS once and that TDS you deduct from the last month rent. So what was the last month? March, no? March, no? So when the rent of March will be paid or credited, whichever happens earlier, at that time this 24,000 will be deducted. So what is the rent of last month? March month rent. How much is that? 1 lakh. From that 1 lakh, this 24,000 will be deducted once in the month of March. Whenever the rent of that March will be paid or credited, at that time from that 1 lakh, this 24,000 will be deducted. Will you remember this? Hello? But wait. Sometimes what will happen? That you will not be occupying the immobile property till March. Is it possible that you vacate the property in December? Then what is the last month? Last month will be March or last month will be December. So the TDS will be deducted from the rent of December month. And this time the TDS will not be 24,000 because the rent is not 12 lakh. From April to December, total rent is 9 months into 1 lakh, 9 lakh rupees. On that 9 lakh, you are going to calculate 2%. So 9 lakh into 2% will be 18,000. That 18,000 will be deducted once from the rent of December month, because this time the December month is last month. Because the tenant has vacated, you have vacated the property in the month of December itself. So March or December. March? No. December. Because December is the last month of tenancy. Okay, no? So tell me, how much is the rent for December? 1 lakh. So from that 1 lakh, 18,000 TDS will be deducted. Whenever that rent of December will be paid or credited, whichever happens earlier, at that time 18,000 will be deducted. Done, sir? Now pay attention. One common point I will tell you, then again I will come on this point. Okay? And very important discussion, because the discussion which I am going to do right now, this has been asked in exam for at least 3-4 times in the recent past, I am telling you. Okay? See, common point. How many common points we have already discussed? 3, no? 3. So this is common point number 4. Now what this point says, that payer makes any specified payment to whom? To the payee. So on this payment, the TDS will be at applicable rate. Usually, whatever is the rate applicable, at that rate you are supposed to deduct the TDS. Yes or no? But this will happen only if the payee has given the PAN. So are you the payee? Yes. Give me your PAN number. If you will give me your PAN number, no, I will deduct the TDS at applicable rate. But if you don't give me your PAN number, payee, if you will not give me the PAN number, or the PAN number which you are giving is incorrect, false, does not belong to you, yes or no? So if the payee has not furnished PAN, or furnished incorrect PAN, or furnished the PAN which does not belong to the payee, then as per section 206AA, there is a section 206AA which will be applicable, which tells the payer to deduct TDS at applicable rate or 20%, whichever is higher. So just imagine, if 194C payment is done, contract fees, how much TDS I am supposed to deduct? 1% or 2%. But for that you will have to give me your PAN. If you will give me your PAN, I will deduct TDS at 1% or 2%. But if you will not give me your PAN, contractor, subcontractor, if you will not give me your PAN, or you are giving me incorrect PAN, false PAN, the PAN which does not belong to you, then it is a non-PAN case. And 206AA will be applicable on your contract fees. I will deduct TDS at 1% or 20%, whichever is higher. All the cases, wherever in all the sections, whether you talk about 192, 192A, 194, 194A, 194B, all the sections, this point is applicable. If the payee does not furnish PAN, or the PAN furnished by the payee is incorrect, then the payer is required to deduct TDS at applicable rate or 20%, whichever is higher. This is the requirement of 206AA. Did you understand this requirement? Now let's come to 194IB. 194IB, guys, do you remember? You are a payee. You are a payee. Okay, no? You are a payee. And I am a payer. I have taken an immobile property on rent from you, and the monthly rent of that property is more than 50,000. Am I supposed to deduct TDS? Yes. Under section 194IB? Yes. At what rate? 2%. So I will deduct TDS at 2% provided you have to give me your PAN. Did you give me your PAN? Yes. Then I will deduct 2%. But if you don't give me your PAN, how much should I deduct? 206AA will be applicable and I will deduct 2% or 20%, whichever is higher. So do you remember the first example? How much was the monthly rent? 1 lakh. April to March. How many months? 12 months. So 12 months into 1 lakh, 12 lakh. On 12 lakh, will I deduct 2% or I will deduct 20% now? 20%, because you have not given me PAN. So 12 lakh into 20%. How much will be the TDS now? Come on, do it fast. 12 lakh into 20%, it will be 2,40,000. So now instead of deducting 24,000, I will deduct how much? 2,40,000. But this 2,40,000 TDS under section 194 IB has to be deducted from the last month rent. So what is the last month rent? 1 lakh. March month rent is 1 lakh. So from 1 lakh, can I deduct 2,40,000? No. So in that case, entire 1 lakh will be TDS. In non-PAN case, if under section 194 IB, if under section 194 IB, I was supposed to deduct TDS. So if you will furnish your PAN, I will deduct TDS at 2%. But if you don't furnish your PAN, I will have to deduct TDS at 20%. No. And if I will calculate the TDS at 20%, that 20% TDS amount will be more than the rent of the last month. So in that case, I will not be able to deduct this much TDS out of the last month rent, because the TDS amount will be higher than the last month rent. So in that case, whatever may be the rent for the last month, that entire rent will become your TDS. That entire rent. Don't pay a single rupee of rent for the month of March. Full rent of March month, 1 lakh, deduct as TDS and deposit to the government. Understanding? Everyone? Now pay attention. One more thing. Second example I gave. When did you vacate the house? When did you vacate the immobile property? December, no? So 1 lakh rupees monthly rent. December you are vacating, meaning 9 months. So what is the rent of 9 months? 9 into 1 lakh, 9 lakh rupees. If you furnish your PAN, I will deduct 2%, 18,000. But what if you don't deduct furnish your PAN? Will I deduct 2% or 20%? Whichever is higher, 20%. So what will be 20% of 9 lakh? 1,80,000, sir. Now that 1,80,000 has to be deducted as TDS under section 194 IB from the last month rent. So what is the last month rent? December month rent, 1 lakh. Can I deduct 1,80,000 out of 1 lakh? No. So in that case, what will be the TDS? Full 1 lakh rupees rent, which is for the last month, December month, will be treated as TDS. And you won't believe this thing with different number. Only the number was different. The same exact discussion which I am doing has been asked in the exam for 2 months. This simple question. Will you be able to crack this type of question? Sure? Everyone? So this is the end of 194I and 194IB. Always do these two sections together, because rate and the threshold and everything is same. The only difference is difference in payer and difference in the asset. In 194I, all assets are covered, but one payer is not covered. Yes or no? In 194IB, the payer who is not covered in 194I will be covered in 194IB. And what type of asset is covered? Only one asset, immobile property. Understanding? In 194I, the TDS will be deducted every month. And in 194IB, TDS will be deducted only once in a year. Understood? Now, important thing to remember, that if you deduct TDS under section 194I, you will have to do other TDS compliances. Like you will have to obtain TAN, you will have to pay the TDS on a monthly basis. Every month you are supposed to deduct TDS. Every month you are supposed to deposit that TDS. Yes or no? You are supposed to file your TDS returns also. So all the TDS related compliances you are supposed to do. Because you are becoming a tax deductor, you will have to obtain TAN, you will have to become a tax deductor, and as a tax deductor, whatever TDS compliances are there, all the TDS compliances you will have to fulfill, and that too also on a regular basis. But if you are covered by 194 IB only, so are you liable to deduct TDS every now and then, or only once? Only once. So for you, if we will tell you to become a tax deductor, obtain TAN, then all the regular procedural compliances will be applicable on you, and unnecessarily it will be a burden for you. So do one thing. If you are liable to deduct TDS only under 194 IB, what did I say? If you are liable to deduct TDS only under section 194 IB, that means only once in a year, no need to obtain TAN. No need to become a tax deductor. So if you will not obtain TAN, you will not become a tax deductor. So the regular tax compliances, TDS compliances which are there, no, will not be applicable for you. Don't worry. Deduct TDS only once, and that TDS which you have deducted, end of the month in which the TDS was deducted, after the end of that month, within 30 days, deposit that TDS through Chalan. Don't obtain TAN, your PAN will be sufficient. Okay, no need to do the procedural compliances on a regular basis as a tax deductor. Okay, your Chalan will be as good as your as good as your TDS return. No need to pay the TDS amount on a monthly basis. Pay the TDS only once. Okay. Hello. So TDS related compliances will not be applicable on you because you are not liable to obtain TAN. Your PAN will be sufficient. Done? Under section 194 IB only. Under section 194 IB. But if you are liable to deduct TDS under other sections, then definitely you are going to apply for TAN. Then definitely you are going to do the other TDS compliances, pay the TDS amount on a monthly basis, file the TDS returns also. But that is not applicable if you are liable to deduct TDS only under 194 IB. Your PAN is sufficient. Understood? Understood? Okay. So this is 194I and IB. Now, there will be 194 IA and there will be 194 LA. Two sections we are going to do together. Okay, 194 IA and 194 LA. Done, sir? Now pay attention. Here also and here also, both the places immobile property is there. Other than agricultural land, which is sold. And here also immobile property other than land, agricultural land, which is compulsorily acquired. So what is the difference between both the sections? Both the sections are talking about what? Immobile property. So here the seller will sell the immobile property to a buyer, and here the authorities will compulsorily acquire the immobile property from the assessee. Getting my point? Which immobile property? Any immobile property other than agricultural land. So seller will sell the property and buyer will pay the consideration. So who is the payer? Buyer is the payer who will pay the consideration. Yes or no? So who is the buyer? Buyer can be any person. Buyer is making the payment. Okay. So 194 IA talks about payment for sale of what? Immobile property other than agricultural land. And this payment will be done by the buyer and this payment will be done to the seller. And who is a seller? Seller can be any resident seller. Okay. And here here also the payment will come, compulsory acquisition, compensation, payment in the form of compensation for compulsory acquisition of immobile property. So who will make this payment? Authorities. Authorities will make the payment to any resident. Any resident. So are you a resident? Yes. Are you getting compensation? Yes. Compensation for compulsory acquisition of immobile property? Yes. From that compensation, TDS will be deducted. Are you a resident seller? Yes. Have you sold your immobile property? Yes. Are you going to get the consideration for sale of your immobile property? Yes. So from that consideration also the TDS will be deducted. Okay. So what is the rate of that TDS? Okay. Pay attention here. If you will go to 194 IA. Which section, guys? IA. IA and IB, no? Sorry. IA and LA. Just a second. See, 50 lakh is the limit. And what is the rate? 1%. 50 lakh is the limit. And what is the rate? 1%. And at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. And if you go and check 194 LA, limit is 5 lakhs and the rate is 10%, and at the time of payment. So what I am supposed to write here? Come on, tell me. 194 IA. A buyer will make the payment for purchase of immobile property to the seller who is selling that immobile property. Okay, no? So if this payment is made, on this payment the TDS will be deducted under section 194 IA. And what is the rate of that TDS? 1% rate of TDS. And the TDS will be deducted at the time of payment or credit of that consideration, whichever is earlier. So whenever that consideration will be paid or credited, whichever happens earlier, at that time the TDS will be deducted. And TDS will be deducted at what rate? 1%. But the threshold limit is, if consideration for payment, what did I say? If consideration for a purchase is greater than or equal to 50 lakhs. If the purchase consideration is 50 lakhs or more, only then the TDS provision will be applicable. Meaning that you are a buyer and you have bought the property. If you are a buyer and you have bought the property, at what price? You have bought the property for 50 lakhs or more. So you just have to check the purchase price. That's it. If the purchase price of the property is 50 lakhs or more, compulsory, whenever that purchase price, whatever part of that purchase price you are going to pay or credit, at that time you are supposed to deduct the TDS. At what rate? 1%. So for example, Sushma is a seller. Sushma is a resident. And I am buying a property from Sushma. Okay. So Sushma, you have sold the property for 60 lakhs. So tell me, what is the consideration? 60 lakh. Is it more than 50? Yes. Now I am making 3 payments. 20, 20, 20. Will I deduct TDS? Yes. On every payment, I have to deduct TDS. Whenever that 20 lakh is paid or credited, whichever happens earlier, at that time I will deduct the TDS. Yes or no? I don't have to see that how much amount I am paying now. I can pay 2 lakh rupees also. I can pay 5 lakh rupees of the consideration also. I can pay 3 lakh rupees of. How much amount I am paying or crediting, I don't have to see that. Whatever amount I will pay or credit, from that amount I will have to deduct the TDS if the consideration is 50 lakhs or more. Understanding? Hello? This is 194 IA. Now under section 194 IA, TDS is deducted only once, not every time. It is not a monthly TDS. This is only once. Just like 194 IB was there. Only once the TDS was supposed to be deducted. Yes or no? So here also the buyer who will make the payment is not required to obtain TAN. His PAN will be sufficient. And in the month in which he has deducted the TDS, from the end of that month within 30 days, he has to pay the TDS which he has deducted through filing a challan. Then he is not required to do any other compliances, TDS compliances. His PAN will be sufficient. Only his PAN will be sufficient. TDS compliances separately he is not supposed to do. Understanding? 194 IA. Okay. Now, if I talk about 194 LA, no. So, in 194 LA, they have changed the threshold limit this time. So, here the threshold limit has changed. Till last year, the threshold limit was 2,50,000. And from this year onwards, they have increased the threshold limit to 5 lakhs. So, if the authorities have compulsorily acquired your immobile property, if authorities have compulsorily acquired your immobile property, and for that compulsory acquisition, they are paying you compensation. So, whenever that compensation is paid or credited, whichever happens, whenever that compensation is paid, at that time, the TDS will be deducted under section 194 LA and the rate of TDS will be 10%. The rate of TDS will be 10% at the time of payment of that compensation. And wait, what is the threshold limit? If compensation paid or credited is greater than what? 5 lakhs. Then on that entire compensation, the TDS will be deducted under section 194 LA. Will you remember this, guys? So do these two sections together. In one section, it is about buying and selling. In another section, it is about compulsory acquisition. Both the sections talk about immobile property. Only the rates are different and the limits are different. That's it. Okay? Done, sir? IA done? LA done. Now we'll talk about 194J. So payer is any person other than individual or HUF whose last year turnover in business was not more than 1 crore or last year gross receipt in profession was not more than 50 lakhs. So this is a payer. Now this payer is making following payments. A, professional fees. B, fees for technical services. C, royalty. D, director's remuneration, which is not a salary in the hands of director, because if it is a salary in the hands of director, TDS will be automatically deducted under 192. No need to come here. So director remuneration you are paying, but that remuneration should not be treated as a salary in the hands of director. Okay. So this is D, and E is non-compete fees. You have heard about this example. I was supposed to open an academy, 15th cross. You remember? The owner of the academy came to me, sir, don't do this business. For not doing this business, I will give you 10 crores. Or remember one example, Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani. Mukesh Ambani was supposed to start the telecommunication business. Don't start the telecommunication business. Anil Ambani paid non-compete fees. Do you remember that? That amount. So if these payments are made by the payer to the payee, and who is a payee? Any resident payee. So from these payments also the TDS will be deducted under section 194J. Which section, guys? 194J. TDS will be deducted under this section. Okay. and TDS will be deducted at the rate of 2%. At the rate of 2%, or the TDS will be deducted at the rate of 10%. Now, two rates of TDS here also. Be very careful. 2% will be in case for fees for technical services, whether this is paid to call center or others, will not make any difference. If any fees for technical services is paid, and whether that fees for technical services is paid to call center or it is paid to others, on FTS, fees for technical services, TDS rate will be 2%. Okay? And on royalty on cinema films. So for cinematography films, the royalty is paid. On that royalty, 2% is there. All royalty 10%. But for cinema films, whatever royalty will be paid, on that, the TDS is 2%. Fees for technical services, TDS is 2%. Whether that fees is paid to call center or any other person. Right now? And for all the other payments, like royalty other than cinema films, 10%. Because cinema films royalty, it is 2%. So other royalties, 10%. Professional fees, 10%. Director's remuneration, 10%. Non-compete fees, 10%. Understanding or not? So all the payments, 10%. But two payments, you are supposed to remember 2%. FTS, whether paid to call center or any other person. And royalty on cinema films, 2%. Done? Now this TDS will be deducted under 194J at this rate at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier, and if such payment in aggregate during the financial year is more than 30,000. So if professional fees paid in a year to the resident is more than 30, TDS will be deducted. This 30,000 limit is separate, huh? This is not for all the 5 payments taken together. No. Professional fees, 30,000 limit separately. Fees for technical services, 30,000 limit separately. Getting my point? So this 30,000 limit is applicable for all the payments. So if in aggregate the professional fees paid in a year to a resident, in aggregate, if the professional fees is more than 30, only then the TDS will come. If during the year fees for technical services is paid to a resident, and if that fees for technical services in aggregate during the year is more than 30, TDS will come under section 194J. So that 30,000 limit is applicable for each item separately, but not applicable for director's remuneration. So this 30,000 limit not applicable for what? Director's remuneration. Meaning even a single rupee of director remuneration will be paid, on that TDS will come. But TDS for other payments will come only if other payments are more than 30,000 in a year. But for director remuneration, please don't see 30,000 limit. Any amount of director remuneration, whether it is less than 30, more than 30, 30,000, any amount of director remuneration paid during the year to a resident, on that TDS will confirm. Under section 194J, TDS will come. Now remember, if professional services, if the payment is made for personal purpose, if you remember, if the payment is made for personal work, TDS will not come. So here also, if the professional services are taken, technical services are taken for professional purposes, personal purposes, and the payment is made, for example, to fight a personal case in the court, to fight a case for family dispute in the court. I am making the professional fees payment to a lawyer. Will I deduct TDS under 194J? The answer is no. Why? Because the professional fees paid to the lawyer is not for any professional assignment which I am giving. Sorry, any business assignment I am giving. I am giving him a personal assignment. I am taking his professional services for my personal purposes. For that, if I will make the payment, I am not supposed to deduct TDS. Getting my point? And second important thing, do you remember that GST part? So if I am making the payment of professional fees, fees for technical services, etc., and along with that, if GST is also charged, will I deduct the TDS on GST component also? The answer is no. GST will be deducted only on the income excluding GST component, provided GST is shown separately in the invoice. But if the GST is not shown separately in the invoice, then on the entire value I will deduct the TDS. Will you remember this? 194J done. 194H done. 194J, then K. K is also done. LA is also done. Now 194M is there. Which section? 194M. Very important. Huh? Pay attention. You are an individual or HUF whose last year turnover in business is not more than 1 crore, or last year gross receipt in profession is not more than 50 lakhs. So he is the payer. Okay. He is making payment. What type of payment? Payment of contract fees, payment of commission or brokerage, or payment of professional fees. And these payments are made to A, B or C. These payments are made to a pay. Which type of pay? Come on, tell me. Any resident pay. Then for these payment, 194C, 194H and 194J will not be applicable. Why? Because the payer is an individual or HUF. So for these type of payers, 194C, 194H and 194J is not applicable. Understanding or not? But this payer is making these payments. Then the TDS will come under section 194M. What is the rate of TDS? If I am not wrong, it is 10%. 10% TDS is there, and that TDS will be deducted at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier, and threshold limit is 50 lakhs. So if any of these payments during the year, for example, contract fees you have paid during the year, and if that contract fees paid is more than 50 lakhs, then you are not going to deduct TDS under 194C, because 194C is not applicable for you. So do one thing, come under 194M and deduct TDS on that entire amount at the rate of 10%. Because the contract fees paid by you during the year is more than 50 lakhs. See, if the contract fees is less than 50 lakhs or equal to 50 lakhs, then 194C will also not come and 194M will also not come. For you, 194C is not applicable. Why? Because you are an individual HUF whose last year turnover was not more than 1 crore. Last year gross receipt was not more than 50 lakhs. So for you, 194C is also not applicable, H is also not applicable, and 194J is also not applicable. But what we are seeing, that bloody this year you are making this payment, making the payment of contract fees more than 50 lakhs. Oh, you are making the payment of commission or brokerage more than 50 lakhs. Or you are making the payment of professional fees more than 50 lakhs in this year. Then even if you are not covered by 194C, 194H or 194J, we will tell you to deduct TDS under section 194M. On the entire amount, which you are paying during the year, on that entire amount you are going to deduct TDS at the rate of 10%. Understanding or not? Everyone, this is 194M, done. But remember, only contract fees is covered, only commission brokerage is covered, and only professional fees is covered. Any of these fees, any of these payments made during the year to any resident, if the aggregate amount of those payments in the year is more than 50 lakhs, then you will come under 194M and deduct TDS under 194M. Understood, sir? Now pay attention. There is 194N. Now what this says, that if there is a bank or a cooperative bank, yes or no, where you are having an account, bank account. So from this bank account, will you withdraw cash? So will the bank give you cash? So bank is giving you cash. Cash withdrawal will be made by the pay. Okay. Please come to 194N. And this time I think that 194N, one question will be there on 194N. Okay. Because this has not been asked since many attempts. So this time I am having a gut feeling that you can get one question on 194N. Okay. Important, easy section, very easy section. Don't worry about it. Okay. Very easy section. See, if you have a bank account, you might have one bank account or you might have multiple bank account in one bank. So in one bank, you are having one account, or in that one bank, you are having multiple bank accounts. So in those bank accounts, will you deposit your money? Will you deposit your money? So the money which is deposited in your bank account, can you withdraw that money? So from the bank, whatever cash withdrawals are made during the year, yes or no? And if that cash withdrawals are in excess of 1 crore during the year, so from your one bank account or all the bank account taken together in that bank, if the total withdrawals from that bank accounts is more than 1 crore, yes or no? So during the year, during 1 year, how much cash you are withdrawing? Bloody more than 1 crore you are withdrawing from your bank account. Ayyo. So 1 crore cash withdrawal, up to 1 crore cash withdrawal, we are not going to tell you anything. But the moment your cash withdrawal goes beyond 1 crore, okay, TDS will be deducted by the bank. Bank will deduct the TDS under section 194N. So TDS under section 194N will be deducted, and this TDS will be at the rate of 2%. But this TDS will come on the cash withdrawal over and above 1 crore. So up to 1 crore cash withdrawal, there will be no TDS. The bank will not deduct any TDS. But during the year, if your cash withdrawal goes beyond 1 crore, so any cash withdrawal which is over and above 1 crore, for example, you have withdrawn 30 lakhs. Will there be any TDS? No. Second time, again you withdraw 20 lakhs. Will there be any TDS? No, because 30 plus 20, 50. Again you are withdrawing 40 lakhs. Will there be any TDS? No, because 30 plus 20, 50, 50 plus 40, 90. There is no TDS because the cash withdrawal is not more than 1 crore. But now you are withdrawing 15 lakhs. So till now 90 lakh was there, aggregate. Now when you withdraw 15 lakhs, because of that 15 lakhs, the total will be 1 crore 5 lakhs. So is the cash withdrawal going beyond 1 crore? Yes. How much excess cash withdrawal? 5 lakhs. On that 5 lakh, 2% TDS will be deducted. So when you will be withdrawing that 15 lakhs, from that 15 lakh, TDS will be deducted. But the TDS will not be deducted on that entire 15 lakhs. TDS will be deducted only on 5 lakhs. Cash withdrawal in excess of 1 crore. That is 5 lakhs. On that 2%. So 5 lakh into 2% will be 10,000 rupees. That 10,000 will be deducted as TDS under section 194N. But that 10,000 will be deducted from that 15 lakhs. Whenever you will withdraw that 15 lakhs. Understanding? Everyone? Now pay attention. If cash withdrawal is done by any cooperative society, then the limit is 3 crores. So if the cooperative society is making a cash withdrawal from the bank account, up to 3 crores cash withdrawal, the bank will not deduct any TDS. But if the cooperative society has withdrawn an amount more than 3 crores, so amount in excess of 3 crores, on that amount also the TDS will be deducted at 2%. So for everyone the threshold is 1 crore. But for cooperative societies the threshold is 3 crores. Will you remember this? Now pay attention. If payee is a regular non-filer of ROI. Regular filer or regular non-filer? So regular non-filer of ROI means what? Not filed ROI for last 3 years. Then if this payee is withdrawing cash from bank, so cash withdrawals up to 20 lakhs, there will be no TDS. But cash withdrawals more than 20 lakhs, then TDS will be there at the rate of 2% on cash withdrawals in excess of 20 lakhs. So for you, the TDS will be attracted the moment your cash withdrawal is more than 20 lakhs. So if you are an assessee and if you have not filed your return for last 3 years, so you are a non-filer, regular non-filer. So for persons like you, the threshold here will not be 1 crore, the threshold will become 20 lakhs. And the moment your cash withdrawal goes beyond 20 lakhs, any cash withdrawal over and above 20 lakhs, the TDS will be deducted at the rate of 2%. But the TDS will be on amount in excess of 20 lakhs. Getting my point? But up to 1 crore. Up to 1 crore. TDS will be at the rate of 5% on cash withdrawal which is in excess of 1 crore. So whatever cash which you will withdraw over and above 20 lakhs, on that we will tell the bank to deduct TDS at 2%. But if your cash withdrawal goes beyond 1 crore also, so any cash withdrawal which you will make over and above 1 crore, on that 2%, no, on that 5% will be deducted. Understanding? And for cooperative society, there is no such restriction. For cooperative society, the limit is 3 crores only. But for others, the limit was 1 crore. That limit will be reduced to 20 lakhs if he is a regular non-filer of ROI. Then the limit will become 20 lakhs. Will you remember? Now see, the TDS is usually deducted on the incomes which the payee is earning. So payee is earning some income, some payment is made to payee. That payment is income for payee. So on that amount, usually the TDS is deducted. But 194N is an exception. Bloody cash you are withdrawing from the bank account, whatever money which is lying in your bank account, you are withdrawing that money, that withdrawal is not your income. So still on that withdrawal, the TDS is deducted. Understanding? So this is an exception. Usually what happens, the TDS is deducted on your income, but 194N is deducted on an amount which is a cash withdrawal, which is not your income. So please remember, if they will ask you that under the provisions of Income Tax Act, the TDS is deducted on the amount of income, is there any exceptions to this? Yes, 194N is the exception. Under section 194N, TDS is not deducted on the amount of income, rather it is deducted on the amount of cash withdrawal, amount lying in your bank account which you are withdrawing in the form of cash. On that TDS is deducted. And the TDS which is deducted under section 194N, even if this TDS is not on income, still this TDS will be allowed. Allowed as what? Credit from your final tax liability. So whenever you will calculate your final tax liability, from that tax liability you take the credit of this TDS later on. Even if this TDS is not shown as your income, even if this TDS was not on your income, and even if it is not shown as your income, still you can take the credit of this TDS while calculating your tax liability. Understanding? Done, sir? Should I move ahead? 194N is done. 194O, not there. 194P. 194P talks about, see, there is a bank, okay, and there is a senior citizen. Now this senior citizen, the age of this senior citizen should be greater than or equal to 75 years. So what is your age? Hello, senior citizen, what is your age? 75 years or more. Okay. Now this senior citizen is having a bank account, an account in the bank. An account in the bank. In this account, no, pension is credited. So this senior citizen's pension is credited in an account in a bank. So for example, you are a senior citizen, you have retired from your employer, and your employer is giving you pension, and that pension is getting credited in this account, and this account is maintained in a bank, right? Hello? Now, other than this pension, you don't have any other income. So he is a senior citizen not having any other income except this pension. Now in this same bank, one time deposit account is also there. One time deposit account is also there. And on this time deposit account, you are getting what? Interest. So usually on this interest, the TDS should be deducted under section 194A. If the interest from this time deposit account is more than 1 lakh. Do you remember 194A? Interest on time deposit account paid to a senior citizen, if more than 1 lakh, the TDS will be deducted under 194A. So if you are having a time deposit account in that bank, and on that time deposit account, if the bank is giving you what? Interest, and if the amount of interest is more than 1 lakh, then the TDS should be deducted under 194A. Yes or no? But wait, if this senior citizen has given a declaration to the bank in prescribed format along with his permanent account number and all, yes or no? So if the senior citizen has given the declaration to this bank in the prescribed format along with his PAN, that bank, I am a senior citizen, my age is 75 years or more, I am having only one account in your bank in which I am getting pension income. Other than pension income, I am not earning any other income. Other than pension, I am not having any other income during the year. I am having only one income in the form of pension, and that pension is getting credited in the account which is maintained with you only, bank. And other than this pension, I am not earning any income. Yes or no? So, bank, do one thing, you only calculate my total income. Bank, I am giving you full authority. You only calculate my total income. In that total income, take the pension which my employer is giving me. Take the interest on time deposit account which I am maintaining with you only. I am giving you full right to calculate my total income. And calculate the tax also on my total income. Out of that tax, some tax which is already deducted by my employer on the pension, reduce that amount, but whatever balance tax is there, that tax you deduct from my interest on time deposit account under section 194P. So if you will give the declaration along with PAN, so based on your declaration, the bank is going to calculate, bank will compute the total income for the senior citizen, and on this total income, bank will determine the tax liability, and from this tax liability, bank will reduce the TDS on what? Pension, if any, deducted by the employer. Because pension is coming in your bank account, you are taking that pension also, you are taking the interest on time deposit account also, you are taking this entire amount as my total income, and on this total income, if you are calculating the tax, out of that tax, some tax is already deducted by employer on the pension, reduce that. So whatever balance tax is there, that balance tax will be the TDS under section 194P. In that case, on this interest, this TDS is not required to be deducted under 194A. Rather, from this interest, this TDS under section 194P will be deducted. The remaining tax. Yes or no? That will be deducted from your interest income and not the interest under 194A. So this will be the TDS under 194P, which has to be deducted from this interest and not 194A. And if this is done, no, then the senior citizen is not liable to file his return of income separately. He will be exempted from filing his return of income. Understanding? This was your 194P. Now 194Q is also there, that I am going to discuss later on. 194R there, 194R. So you might have heard that payer is any person. Wait. I will copy paste from here. This is the payer. Payer is any person other than this individual or HUF. You remember, no, what type of payer I am talking about? Payer can be any person, but the payer should not be an individual or HUF whose last year business turnover was not more than 1 crore, last year's gross receipt from profession not more than 50 lakh. So payer can be any person other than this individual or HUF. If this payer is giving what? Perquisite to payee who is a resident, and this perquisite is given in the course of business or profession, meaning for this payee, the perquisite is taxable under the head PGBP. So payee is receiving perquisite, and that perquisite is PGBP income of payee, because that perquisite he is receiving in the course of business or profession. So if you are getting perquisite, you are getting personal benefits from me in the course of business or profession, then that perquisite will be taxable for you under the head PGBP. But since I am the person who is giving you that perquisite, okay, so I will be liable to deduct TDS under section 194R at the rate of 10%. So at the time of payment or credit, whichever happens earlier, at that time I will deduct the TDS. But the threshold limit is greater than 20,000. If the value of that personal benefit, if the value of that perquisite which I am giving during the year in aggregate is more than 20,000, then on that entire value I am going to deduct the TDS under section 194R. Will you remember this? So the perquisite can be given in money, it can be given in kind, it can be given by any mode. If it is given in money, then TDS will be deducted, no problem. But if it is given in kind, then I will not be able to deduct the TDS. Then in that case, I will tell you to deposit that tax in the form of advance tax. That's it. So you pay the tax, show me the receipt that you have paid the tax on this perquisite, then only I will give you the perquisite. Getting my point? So just like the winnings in kind, I have already discussed about that winnings in kind, just like that only. So if I am giving you a benefit of rupees 1 lakh, how much TDS was supposed to be deducted? 10%. Okay, so 10,000 rupees. But I am not able to deduct that 10,000 because 1 lakh rupees I am not giving you in cash, I am giving you in kind. So in that case, what I will do? I will tell you to deposit that 10,000 as advance tax and show me the receipt. Once you will deposit that 10,000, then only I will release you the perquisite amounting to rupees 1 lakh. Then net will be 90, and under the head PGBP you are going to show how much? 1 lakh, and 10,000 you are going to take as a credit. Understanding? So this was your 194R. And there is 194T also, which has been introduced from this year onwards, that if a partnership firm is paying interest on loan, interest on capital to a partner, so from that interest also the TDS will be deducted by the partnership firm under section 194T, and the rate of TDS is 10%. With this, all the TDS provisions you have completed. Now I will tell you only one page in the ICI study mat for that procedural part. Okay, when the TDS return will be filed, what will be the format of TDS return, what will be the due date of TDS return, yes or no? When the TDS will be deposited to the government, monthly payment has to be made. So which month's TDS will be deposited in which month, how that TDS will be paid. Getting my point? Whether by way of electronic modes, online payment, how will you deposit that TDS to the government? Then what will be the format of TDS certificate, in what form the TDS certificate will be issued. Okay, then till what time the TDS certificate should be issued. So all those things which are only procedural part, only one page you are going to read about that. Only read it once. No need to get into detail also. Other than that, TDS provisions are done. Okay, understood guys? Everyone? So now do one thing. Come on the page number, I'll tell you. Do that one page number only. Okay, page number 7.72. This is entirely procedural part. Anything else if you are doing now from this chapter, trust me, you are wasting your time. Don't do anything else except for the things which I have discussed. And this procedural part also, you are just supposed to read it once. That's it. Okay. So read this one page once at your home. Things are done. Done, sir. So with this, TDS provisions are over. Now, if I talk about TCS provisions. Which provisions? TCS. See, section number 206C. 206C. There is subsection 1, 1C, 1G, 1F is there, then 1G is there, and then 1H is there. 1, 1C, 1F, 1G and 1H. Okay. Pay attention, pay attention. 206C subsection 1 talks about certain specified goods. See, if you'll see now, the list of that specified goods, I will show you the list of those specified goods. Okay, now see, this is 206C subsection 1 and this table is given. In this table, no, these goods are specified. Just read the name of these goods. Okay, so I call these goods specified goods. Like alcohol for human consumption is there, timber is there. Okay, no. So if a seller is there, seller is selling these goods, and these goods are sold to a buyer. Okay, no. So what will happen now? Buyer will make the payment. So seller will collect the selling price. So along with the selling price, also collect this much tax. So if you are selling these products to a buyer for 100 rupees, so take your 100 rupees, take your selling price also and collect tax at 1% if you are selling alcohol for human consumption. If you are selling timber, then collect 2%. If you are selling tendu leaves, then collect 5%. So instead of taking 100 rupees from the buyer, take 100 rupees for your product and for the government collect tax at these rates. Because the government does not want believe, in fact government does not believe on the buyer, that buyer is going to pay tax. See, as a buyer, if you are buying these items, you are not buying these items for own consumption. If these items are bought for own consumption, then there will be no TCS. So if the buyer is a buyer who is a final consumer, then TCS will not be applicable. This TCS will be applicable only if the buyer is buying to further resale. So are you buying alcohol for consuming? No, you are buying alcohol for further selling. So will you sell? Yes. So when you will sell, that time will you earn income? Yes. But on that income, you are not paying tax to the government. So government wants that who is selling this and earning income. The person who is selling and earning income, that person should be identified. And also, even if he does not pay tax on that item later on, we can identify that person and at least certain percentage we collect from him in the form of tax. For example, I am a wholesaler of alcohol. Okay. So I am selling what? Alcohol. I am a wholesaler. And you are a buyer. You have come to buy alcohol from me. Will you buy for own consumption or you are a liquor shop owner? You are a liquor shop owner. So a liquor shop owner will come to the wholesaler and you will buy the alcohol. You will buy the liquor from me. Why will you buy it? To consume or to keep in your shop and sell it? To keep in your shop and to sell it. So if you are buying one bottle from me for 100 rupees, at what price you will sell it? You will sell it for 50 rupees. Become a buyer and think, I am a seller, I am selling what? I am a wholesaler, I am selling alcohol. And you are a liquor shop owner. So you are going to come to the wholesaler and you are going to buy the liquor. At what price you are buying? 100 rupees you are buying. So in your shop, you will keep this liquor and you will sell it for how much? At least 100 rupees plus profit margin. So when you will sell, definitely you are going to sell for a minimum price of 100 cost. Yes or no? So on that 100, some tax is collected right now only by the seller. Whenever you will sell in the future, at least you will earn 100, no? On that 100, right now only some tax is collected by the seller. Government has told the seller that if you are selling these items to any buyer and who is taking these items for further resale, so that buyer is going to earn income by selling these items in the future. So how much he is going to earn? At least the price which that buyer is paying you as a selling price, at least that much he will earn, no? So on that amount which he is paying you as a selling price, which he will at least earn as an income in the future, on that amount collect the tax right now at these rates. Understanding? Hello sir. So now tell me, are you a seller? Yes. Have you sold certain specified goods? So on those specified goods, whenever you will sell them to a buyer, you will have to collect the tax at source at the prescribed rates. So goods are prescribed, remember the names of goods and remember the rates. If this good is sold by the seller, seller will take the selling price and seller will collect the TCS at 1%, at 5%, at 2%, depends that which type of good is sold and what is the rate of TCS. Understanding? Hello? So who should be the buyer? Who should not be the buyer? Who should be the seller? Who should not be the seller? Just read those part once. That's it. 206C 1 over. Now 206C 1C talks about lease. Lease. Lease of what? Toll plaza, lease of parking lot, or lease of mines or quarries. Mines or quarries. So tell me, are you a lessor? Yes. Are you leasing any of these assets? Yes. So lessor will give these assets on lease to the lessee. Why lessee will take these assets on lease? Come on, tell me. If I am leasing you parking lot, why will you take a parking lot on lease from me? Huge parking lot having a capacity of 1,000 cars, 1,000 car parking. Why will you take this parking lot on lease from me? Because you want to do a pay and park business. So I am the owner of the parking lot. I am the lessor. I am giving the parking lot on lease to you. Why will you bloody take this parking lot, such a huge parking lot, on lease from me? Because you want to do the parking lot business, pay and park business. In the center of the city, there is a huge, There is a huge mall, and besides that mall only, there is a huge vacant plot of land which belongs to me. Now, due to the traffic problem and all, no, people are not able to park their vehicles and there is no parking place available in the mall. Just besides the mall, there is a huge land which belongs to me. So what you thought, that sir is having this much huge parking space, let me take the parking space on lease from sir. What are you going to do with that parking place? Parking lot? Sir, there is a mall, no? So many people are coming for shopping and all. They get the problem to park their vehicles. And your land is just besides the mall. What I will do? I will allow the people to park their vehicles on this parking lot and I will earn good amount of parking money. So are you going to do pay and park business in the parking lot? Yes. So I am a lessor? Yes. I have given a parking lot to you? Yes. You are a lessee. What will you do with this parking lot? You are going to do the business of pay and park. And by doing that business, you will earn some income. Yes. On that income, are you going to pay tax to the government? Government does not trust you. Government does not believe you that you will pay tax on the income which you are going to earn from this pay and park business. So tell me, at least how much income you are going to earn? Definitely whatever income you are going to earn from this pay and park business, at least the lease rent which you are going to pay me, at least that much amount you will earn as an income, no? So on that amount, the lessor will collect the tax right now and give it to the government. So if the lessor is leasing parking lot, lessor is leasing toll plaza, lessor is leasing mines or quarries to any lessee. So the lessor is required to collect along with the lease rent, the lessor will collect TCS. At what percent? 2%. Understanding? And when this TCS is to be collected at the time of payment or credit, whichever is earlier, no, at the time of receipt or debit, whichever is earlier. When you talk about TDS, no, when you talk about TDS, you say payment or credit, whichever is earlier. But when you talk about TCS, no, tax is collected along with my income. So lessor is earning lease rent, lessor is earning lease rent income. So lessor will collect the TCS at the time of receipt or at the time of debit, whichever happens earlier. Seller is earning income by selling these items. So seller will collect the tax at the time of receipt or debit, whichever happens earlier. Understanding? Hello, sir. Now, 1F talks about motor vehicles whose value is more than 10 lakhs. So, I am a seller and I am selling motor vehicles. Any type of motor vehicles, huh? It can be motor car also, it can be scooter also, it can be motorcycle also. Any type of motor vehicle I am selling. So, I am a seller of motor vehicle. And the motor vehicle which I am selling, the value of that motor vehicle, sale value of that motor vehicle is more than 10 lakhs. So the seller is required to collect TCS on sale of motor vehicles also, as per 206C1F. So 1 talks about specified goods, 1C talks about lease of 3 items, lease of toll plaza, lease of parking lots, lease of mines or quarries. So lessor will collect TCS along with lease rent. Seller will collect TCS along with the selling price of specified items. And in 1F, seller of motor vehicles will also collect TCS along with the sale value of motor vehicles. Understanding? Provided the sale value of motor vehicle is more than 10 lakhs. If the motor vehicle is sold for a value which is less than or equal to 10 lakh, then there will be no TCS. But if the sale value of the motor vehicle is more than 10 lakhs, then the seller will recover TCS along with the sale value of the motor vehicle. Yes or no? This is given in 1F. Now 1G talks about foreign exchange and foreign tour package. Foreign tour package. So I am a seller and I am selling foreign exchange. So I am an authorized dealer. Somebody will come to buy foreign exchange from me. So at the time of selling foreign exchange to him, I will collect the money to sell the foreign exchange. Along with that, I will also collect the TCS. If I am a foreign tour operator, so people will come to buy the foreign tour packages from me. So if somebody is coming to buy the foreign tour package from me, so I am a seller, I am selling foreign tour package. So whatever foreign tour package I will be selling, for that I will collect the money. Foreign tour package I will sell and I will collect the money for foreign tour package. But along with that, I will also collect TCS. Understanding? That is given in 1G. Out of all these sections, this is very important. 1G. Okay, very important. Because many times the questions are framed on these two parts. Okay, and there is a threshold also, that to a certain extent, if the foreign exchange is purchased, there will be no TCS. And if the foreign exchange purchased for a value which is more than that threshold, then the TCS will apply, but on the excess amount only. Okay. So if you see, if you go and check, see here now they have given you thresholds. Okay. See what is this? Amount is for purchase of an overseas tour program, tour package. So I am a foreign tour operator and you are purchasing foreign tour from me. 6 night, 7 days London tour package. And for that I will charge you some money. So I am a foreign tour operator. I am selling a foreign tour package to you, and for that you are giving me money. So will I collect the money for foreign tour package? Yes. And if the amount is 10 lakh rupees or less, so foreign tour package I am selling, and for how much amount I am selling the foreign tour package? 3 lakh rupees. So is the foreign tour package, the value is up to 10 lakhs? Yes. Then I will collect TCS at what rate? 5%. So if the value of foreign tour package, is up to 10 lakhs, then the TCS rate is 5%. But what if the value of foreign tour package is more than 10 lakh? Then for the first 10 lakh rupees, I will charge 5%. And anything over and above 10 lakh, I will charge 20%. So for example, a foreign tour package you are buying from me, the value of that foreign tour package is 5 lakhs. How much I will charge? 5%. Because the value of foreign tour package is only 5 lakhs, which is within 10 lakh rupees limit. Yes or no? But what if you are buying a foreign tour package and the value of that foreign tour package is 12 lakh rupees? How much? 12 lakh. So for the first 10 lakh, I will take 5% TCS, and anything over and above 10 lakh, how much? 2 lakhs. On that I will collect 20%. So 10 lakh into 5% plus 2 lakh into 20%. This will be the amount of TCS only in the case of foreign tour package. But if you are buying foreign currency from me, then I will not take any TCS. No TCS I will charge. If you are buying foreign exchange from me for the purpose of education and for the purpose of education, and that foreign tour package, foreign currency you are buying from loan. So are you buying foreign exchange from me? Yes. For what purpose you want that foreign exchange? Oh, you want to use that foreign exchange outside India for education. Oh, so you want to spend foreign exchange for education. For that you are buying foreign exchange from me. To buy that foreign exchange, where did you get money? You are not using that money from your pocket. Oh, you are buying foreign exchange from a loan. So you have taken a loan from any financial institution, from any bank, for higher education outside India, for education outside India. And from that loan, if you are buying foreign exchange, then on that foreign exchange purchase, there will be no TCS. No TCS. Whatever may be the amount which you have bought. Understanding? So foreign exchange is purchased by you. I am selling the foreign exchange. I am a seller of foreign exchange. Am I selling the foreign exchange? Yes. What value? Any value. But that foreign exchange must be sold to you. You are buying that foreign exchange from me for what? For education outside India. And you are buying that out of loan which you have taken. So buying of foreign exchange from a loan for the purpose of education, on that foreign exchange there will be no TCS. Understanding? Next one. If you are taking foreign exchange for education or medical treatment, now there is medical treatment also. But now this foreign exchange, you are not buying from any loan amount. You are buying from your own pocket. You are spending your own money to buy the foreign exchange. Yes or no? So are you purchasing foreign exchange? Yes. Are you purchasing foreign exchange from loan? No, 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 no. You are purchasing foreign exchange from your own income. You are not purchasing that from loan. Now that foreign exchange you are purchasing for what? Oh, for education. for medical treatment. Okay. Then along with that purchase price, I will also recover 5% TCS, but only if it is in excess of 10 lakhs. Only if it is in excess of 10 lakhs. So have you bought foreign exchange from me? Yes. What is the value? 8 lakhs. No TCS. Because the foreign exchange is purchased by you for education or medical treatment. But what if you have purchased a foreign exchange for 15 lakhs for education or medical treatment? Then for the first 10 lakhs, there will be no TCS. How much is in excess of 10 lakhs? 5 lakhs. On that, TCS will be at the rate of 5%. But only if foreign exchange is purchased for education or medical treatment out of own money. But if you are purchasing foreign exchange for any other purpose, now whether you purchase it out of loan or any amount, we don't care. If you are purchasing foreign exchange for any purpose other than education or medical treatment, yes or no, then the TCS will be 20% of the amount in excess of 10 lakhs. Instead of 5%, the rate of TCS will be 20%. Understanding? Everyone? Foreign tour program, 5% up to 10 lakhs. Excess 20%. Foreign exchange, no TCS. If foreign exchange is purchased out of loan for the purpose of education. Okay. If foreign exchange is purchased but not out of loan, out of own money, but it is purchased for education or it is purchased for medical treatment, then 5%. But that 5% over and above 10 lakhs. Up to 10 lakhs, there is no TCS. Yes or no? But if the foreign exchange is purchased for any other purpose other than education, other than medical treatment, then it will be 20%. But over and above 10 lakhs. Understanding? Hello? So this was your TCS, guys. This was your TCS. Now 1H which was there earlier, now 1H is not applicable from this attempt onwards. So earlier 206C, 1H was a provision which is not there. Okay. And one small section we have missed, 194Q. Which section? 194Q. This section says that payer who is a buyer, okay, his last year turnover in business was more than 10 crores. And this buyer has purchased some goods from the resident seller. Okay. And for the purchase of specified goods, he is making the payment. So, payment for purchase of any goods. And if that payment is more than 50 lakhs in the financial year, then TDS will be deducted under section 194Q at the rate of 0.1% on excess amount. Excess amount means amount in excess of 50 lakhs. So if you are a buyer and you have purchased some goods from me during the year and the total value of the goods which you have purchased from me is more than 50 lakhs, will you make the payment to me? Yes. And the payment which you are making to me over and above 50 lakhs, on that payment also the TDS will be deducted. You will deduct the TDS. At what rate? 0.1%. And that 0.1% you will deduct on the amount in excess of 50 lakhs. So up to 50 lakhs, whatever payment you are going to make, on that payment you are not going to deduct any TDS. But any excess payment you will make during the financial year, on that excess payment you are supposed to deduct TDS at 0.1%. Understanding? Hello? But only if your last year turnover was more than 10 crores. Only then this TDS provision will be applicable on you. If your last year turnover, buyer, if your last year turnover was not more than 10 crore, then this TDS provision is not applicable. Will you remember this? This was 194Q, and with this TDS, TCS both are over. Now, one simple, small thing I want to tell you. Let's see, he is a seller selling some goods to the buyer. Now what the buyer will do? Buyer will make the payment. Payment of what? Selling price. Buyer will give the selling price. So along with selling price, the seller is also required to collect TCS at applicable rates. So whatever rate which was applicable, at that applicable rate, the seller will collect the TCS. Yes or no? But applicable rate is important and will be charged only if the buyer has given the PAN to the seller. What if the buyer does not give the PAN to the seller? Seller is asking for PAN. Please give me your PAN, buyer. So buyer has not given the PAN, or buyer has given wrong PAN. Then will the seller collect TCS? Yes. But now he will not collect the TCS at applicable rate. He will collect the TCS at applicable rate or twice of applicable rate, whichever is higher. Just like 206AA, here also there is a requirement that the buyer or that lessee, yes or no, they are all supposed to give their PAN to the seller or the lessor. If they fail to furnish their PAN, then the seller will collect, lessor will collect the TCS at what rate? Applicable rate or twice of the applicable rate, whichever is higher. Understanding? Hello? This is it. And if you are liable to collect the TCS, you are also supposed to obtain TAN. Then you are also supposed to file, you are also supposed to deposit that TCS on monthly basis. You are also supposed to file your TDS TCS return. You are also supposed to issue the TCS certificate. So all the provisions which are applicable, procedural formalities which are applicable at the time of TCS, similar, same type of formalities and same type of due dates and everything will be applicable for TCS formalities also. TCS procedural part also. Period is same, due dates are also same, just some formats, the forms will change, that's it. Otherwise the TCS and TCS formalities are same. Understanding? So with this the chapter comes to an end. Okay. So now today, sitting at home, we are going to revise all these things and all the illustrations which are there. Just go through those illustrations once. Okay. If you find any difficulty in any illustration, you have my number. You can send me your doubt. I will resolve your doubt then and that time. Okay. But today itself, solve all the questions. Why I am telling you, confirm 4-mark question is there in the exam from this chapter. Confirm. And you can score 4 on 4 if the question is coming from this chapter. Understanding, sir? So today only finish this. Okay. Now pay attention. I will tell you advanced tax. See, this chapter, no, they have not asked in the exam since a very long time. They don't ask anything from this chapter. Okay. But we have to have a basic idea about this advanced tax. Okay. See, during the previous year, no, if you are earning some incomes, like you are earning salary income, you are earning interest income, you are earning rental income, you are earning professional fees, you are earning commission or brokerage. So many different types of incomes you are earning. So those incomes which you are earning, on certain incomes, the TDS will be deducted. Yes or no? Tax will be deducted. At source only, the payer will deduct tax and he will give you the balance income, net income. But sometimes it is practically not possible to deduct TDS on certain incomes. But on those incomes also, the government wants to collect tax from you during the previous year itself. Pay as you earn. So to recover the tax on those incomes for which there are no TDS provisions, advanced tax provisions are there. Okay. Now advanced tax provisions, what the advanced tax provision says, that if in the beginning of the year only, meaning your previous year is starting. So when your previous year is going on, during the previous year itself, at certain regular intervals, come to us and pay your tax in advance. That's it. We will not wait for the assessment year to come. During the previous year itself, at regular intervals, you are supposed to pay your taxes in advance. But in regular basis, certain amount you are supposed to pay. So when the previous year will start, in the beginning of the previous year only, you will have to make sure, you will have to identify that whether you are liable to pay advance tax or not. Understanding what I am trying to tell you? So beginning of the year only, you get ready, make yourself ready that during the previous year at periodic intervals you will be liable to pay what? Advance tax. Sir, how would I be knowing? How would I know that I am liable to pay advance tax in this year? For that you are not supposed to do anything. See, in the beginning of the previous year, for example, your previous year 25-26 is there. Okay. So what is the beginning of the previous year? Come on, tell me. First day of the April. Yes or no? So in the very beginning, in the very first week or the first day of the previous year, you just make an estimation of this previous year. See, previous year is not yet over. Previous year has just started. But at least you can have a rough idea or estimation about this previous year. That how much income, total income you are going to earn for this previous year. So in the beginning of the previous year, you have just idea, an estimation about this previous year. Sir, how will I get that estimation? Bloody, you are not just now born, no? You have been doing business since so many years. You have been earning salary from so many years. You have been earning incomes from so many years. So in the past also you have earned income. So can you see a trend that 3 years back your income was this, then slowly and gradually your income started earning. You started getting some increment in your salary. You started getting some increment in your rental income. You started getting some growth in your business. Yes or no? So have some idea, no, from the past. So from the past data, you will have an idea that how much growth will happen in this year and how much total income you are going to earn. So for example, 5 years back you have started earning income. So 5 years back, first year your income was 10 lakh. Second year your income grew and it became 12 lakh. Third year it became 15 lakh. Fourth year it became 18 lakh. Last year it was 20 lakh. So definitely this year your income is going to be a little bit more only, no? Have that estimation. So in the beginning of the year itself, starting of the year, starting of the previous year, in the starting only, have an estimation. Estimate your total income. And on this total income, no, you can easily calculate the tax liability. You can easily estimate what? Your tax liability. How can you estimate the tax liability? Because whatever tax rates which are to be applied for this year would be already known to you in the budget itself, in the month of February only. You are standing in the month of April. So what tax rates are going to be applied for this year, you already know about them, because in the February only in the budget, the tax rates are announced for this year. Yes or no? So tax rates also you know that what are the tax rates which are going to be applied for this year's income. Because those tax rates will be already announced in the budget in the month of February itself. And you are standing in the month of April. So if you are standing in the month of April, what will be the tax rates applicable for this year's income? You already know those tax rates in the February itself, in the budget. Those tax rates are announced. Apply those tax rates and calculate the tax liability. Estimate, no, this is not the actual tax. This is not the actual total income. Actual total income, actual tax, you will come to know in the assessment year. Next year, yes or no? But next year we are not going to collect that tax. We want to collect the tax from you in this year only. Hello sir, are you all understanding? So do one thing, make an estimation this year. Make an estimation in this year. First of all, in the beginning of the year, in the very beginning of the year, estimate your total income. And on that total income, estimate your tax liability. If the tax liability which you have estimated for this year is 10,000 rupees or more, how much? 10,000 rupees or more, then be ready to pay this tax in the form of advance tax. So this tax which you have estimated right now will have to be paid by you in this year in the form of what? Advance tax. So this estimated tax liability, if it is 10,000 rupees or more, to be paid as what? Advance tax during the previous year itself. Understanding? We don't want you to pay this right now only. No. Just make yourself ready that whatever tax you have estimated, for example, the tax estimated was 35,000. So 35,000, is it 10,000 rupees or more? Yes. Then that 35,000 which you have estimated right now, be ready to pay this much amount in this year as what? Advance tax. We don't want that 35,000 right now only. Understanding? Right now just make an estimation. And if this estimated tax is more than 10,000, equal to or more than 10,000, be ready to pay this amount in the form of advance tax. Understood? Now, to be paid as advance tax during the previous year, but it has to be paid in what? In 4 installments. In how many installments? 4 installments. In 4 installments, first installment on or before 15th June of your previous year. Second installment on or before 15th of September of your previous year. Third installment on or before 15th December of your previous year. And the last installment on or before 15th of March of your previous year. So on or before these dates, you are supposed to pay the advance tax. But wait, on or before 15th June, at least 15% of advance tax must be paid to us. So on or before 15th June, make sure that 15% of your advance tax you are paying on or before 15th June. Make sure that 45% of your advance tax you are paying on or before 15th of September. Cumulative percentage. So 45% you will calculate minus the first installment, the balance will be paid as second installment. Yes or no? So that 45% is paid till 15th September. Make sure that 75% of your advance tax is paid on or before 15th of December. So calculate 75% minus the first installment minus the second installment, whatever balance will be there, you have to pay on or before 15th of December. So that till 15th December, 75% of advance tax is paid by you. And make sure that 100% of your advance tax liability you discharge on or before 15th of March. So on or before 15th March, you have to pay entire advance tax. So 100% of your advance tax minus first, minus second, minus third installment which you have actually paid, whatever balance is there, that you pay on or before 15th of March. So that till 15th March your 100% advance tax comes to us. So these are cumulative percentage. On or before 15th June, discharge 15%. On or before 15th September, discharge 45%. On or before 15th of December, discharge your 75%. And on or before 15th March, entire advance tax liability should be paid. Understanding? Now pay attention. Are we telling you to pay the entire advance tax right now? Right now you just make an estimation, no boss. And if on this estimation you come to know that okay, for this year the tax liability will be 10,000 rupees or more, simple, that entire income tax liability you have to pay in these 4 installments. Some amount first installment, some amount second installment, some amount third installment. So when are you going to pay first installment? Come on, tell me. For first installment, you are going to come on 15th of June 2025. On this date, on or before this date, you are supposed to pay first installment. So don't you think from 1st April 2025 to 15th June 2025, you will have details of your actual income? Because till 15th June, how much you have actually earned, you will be knowing that, no? From 1st April till 15th June, how much you have earned? Actual amount you know, na? Take that actual amount. And now do the estimation for the balance part of the year. Estimation from 16th of June 25 to 31st March 26. For this period, do the estimation. Now see, when you did the estimation in the beginning, don't you think you estimated for the full year? So here the estimation was from April to March. Full year estimation was there. But now you don't have to estimate for the full year, no? We are calling you on 15th June. So you will have to estimate from 16th June. Because till 15th June, you are aware that how much you have actually earned. So take this actual figure, take this estimated figure, add both of them, and now calculate your estimated total income. And on that estimated total income, calculate your estimated tax, which is 10,000 rupees or more. And this estimated tax, if it is more than 10,000, more than or equal to 10,000, this is your advance tax. Yes or no? And 15% of that advance tax will be your first installment. Understanding what is happening? Hello? Now enjoy. Enjoy after 15th June. Next time, when are you going to come to us? Next, when are you going to come? 16th June? No. Next, you will come on 15th of September. Second installment. Yes or no? So, second installment you are going to pay on 15th of September 2025. Now tell me, don't you know from 1st of April 25 to 15 September 25. Now bloody not till June. No. Till 15 September. You will know that how much actually you have earned. Understanding, no? So till 15 September, how much actually you have earned. Now you will have to do the estimation from 16 September. Now your estimation will come down. Because actual figure will be available till 15th of September. So you will have to now estimate only from 16th of September 2025 to 31st March 2026. Now estimation will be less. Now actual figure plus estimated figure, add both of them, and based on that you revise your estimated total income. On that again you calculate your estimated tax, which is 10,000 rupees or more, and this amount only is your advance tax. Now 45% of this amount should be paid on or before 15th of September. And whatever 45% you have calculated, out of that already first installment you have paid. Okay. So whatever amount out of this you have paid as first installment, reduce that. And whatever balance is there, that will be your second installment, which you have to pay on or before 15th of September. Understanding? Now enjoy. Now next, when are you going to come? 15th of December. 15th of December. So now come to us. Come to us on 15th of December. Now don't you think Now you will have actual figure from 1st April 25 to 15th December 25. Actual figure will be available. Actually, how much you have earned will be available. Till June? No. Till September? No. Till 15th December, how much you have earned? Actual amount will be available with you now. Now, don't you think your estimation will reduce now? Now you will have to do the estimation only for 16th December to 31st March. Can you see your actual figure is growing and your estimation is reducing? Earlier the actual was for 2.5 months. See here, actual was 2.5 months and estimation you did for 9.5 months. Then your actual was for 5.5 months and estimation came down to 6.5 months. Now see, now your actual is for how many months? Now your actual is for 8.5 months. Hello sir. And now you'll have to do the estimation only for 4.5 months, 3.5 months. Getting my point? 3.5 months estimate. So your actual figure is increasing, your estimation is reducing. That means you are coming closer to your total income, which you will be actually calculating in the assessment year. So estimated plus actual amount, add both the amount. Again your total income estimation will a little bit, it will be changed. On that estimated total income, again estimate your tax liability. Estimated tax liability is 10,000 rupees or more. So this estimated tax liability is your advance tax. And 75% of this advance tax you are supposed to pay on or before 15th of December. But out of this you have already paid some amount in first installment and you have already paid some amount in second installment. Reduce those two amounts. Hello, reduce those two amounts and whatever balance will be there, that will be your third installment. Pay this amount on or before 15th of December. Understanding or not? And now next time, last time you are going to come to us on 15th of March 2026. And now don't you think from 1st of April 2025 to 15th of March 2026, actual will be available for this period. Now almost 11.5 months actual figure is available. Now you'll have to do the estimation only for 15 days. And that estimation will be from 16th of March 26 to 31st March 26. Estimation only for 15 days. Now actual for 11.5 months and estimation for 15 days. This will again revise your estimated total income. And now calculate the estimated tax again on this amount, which is greater than or equal to 10,000. And this estimated tax liability will be taken as your advance tax. 100% of this amount has to be paid by this time. And wait, out of this, some amount you have paid as first installment, some amount you have paid as second installment, and some amount you have paid as third installment. So whatever amount you have paid in first, second and third installments, reduce those amount. This final amount will be your fourth and final installment. This way you are supposed to calculate your advance tax liability and you have to pay your advance tax liability. Will you remember this? Hello? Sure. Should I move ahead? Now pay attention. If assessee is senior citizen and not having PGBP income. Then for this assessee, advance tax provisions not applicable. So advance tax provisions are applicable for all assessees. Individual, HUF, company, firm, for all assessees if this condition is fulfilled. Okay, no? If this condition is fulfilled, then advance tax provisions are applicable for all assessees. Okay? And all the assessees will have to pay their advance tax liability in 4 installments, which has to be calculated like this. Understanding? Hello, sir? But wait. If the assessee is a senior citizen and he is not having any PGBP income during the previous year, so for this type of senior citizen, advance tax provisions will not be applicable. Okay? One thing. Second thing, you have to remember that if assessee is showing presumptive PGBP income under section 44AD and 44ADA. Did I write 44A? Yes, sir, you have written 44A, but after writing, I have cancelled. So which presumptive income? Only 44AD and 44ADA. So if the assessee is showing presumptive PGBP income under section 44AD and 44ADA, so advance tax provisions are applicable to these assessees also. But advance tax payment in 4 installments. 4 installments not applicable. Payment of 100% advance tax on or before 15th March of the previous year. Only this is required. See, now whatever amount you want to pay whenever during the previous year, if you want to pay 50 rupees every day, if you want to pay 1000 rupees right now, 2000 rupees later on, 50,000 rupees, whatever amount you want to pay, in whatever way you can pay. So there is no requirement that on or before 15th June minimum this much amount, on or before 15th of September minimum. No. Minimum requirement is not there. So those 4 installments, you don't put yourself in the trouble of those 4 installments. But make sure that the advance tax which is payable by you, 100% of that advance tax is paid on or before 15th of March. That's it. If you will make sure that 15th of March or before that you have paid the entire advance tax, then it is no problem. No problem. Entire advance tax you can pay. In whatever way you want to pay, you can pay. So the requirement of payment of minimum amount on or before 15 June, on or before 15 September, on or before 15 December, that minimum requirement is not there. So you are not supposed to follow 4 installments. You want to pay in whatever way, whatever amount you can pay in that way. But make sure entire advance tax you are paying on or before 15th of March. That's it. Understanding? Hello, sir? But what about the assessees who follows 44A? For them, advance tax is also applicable, and for them 4 installments are also applicable. They are not given this immunity. This immunity from 4 installments is given only to those assessees who are showing their presumptive income under 44AD and 44ADA. That's it. Understanding? Everyone? So this was your advance tax, fully done. Okay. Now, one simple thing. There is a 234A interest. sometimes you have to pay interest under section 234A, which is for delay in payment of tax due to default in filing ROI. So if your return of income is not filed on or before the due date, and as a result of that, there is a delay in payment of your balance tax liability. So there will be an interest which will be charged from you under section 234A. And how much will be that interest? The balance tax which is to be paid multiplied by 1% per month or part of the month multiplied by period of delay. Okay. And that delay period will be counted from first day after due date of ROI till actual date of payment of such tax. So sometimes if you file late return or you don't file the return, and as a result of that, whatever balance tax which was supposed to be paid by you, self-assessment tax which you calculated in the assessment year, that balance tax which was supposed to be paid by you could not be paid on or before the due date because you did not file the return on or before the due date. So since you filed your return late, since you did not file your return, because of that reason, the balance amount of tax which you have calculated in the assessment year, self-assessment tax, final tax liability, that is getting delayed. The payment of that tax is getting delayed. And for that delay in the payment of balance tax after the due date, yes or no, this interest is charged, 234A. And this interest is charged on the amount of tax which is remaining to be paid at the rate of 1% for every month's delay, or even the part of the month's delay, 1% will be charged. And this will be charged for the period of delay. And how much delay? After the due date of filing return, whatever is delay till the date actually that tax payment is not done, till that day, for this delay the interest will be charged. Getting my point, what I am trying to tell you, everyone? Hello? 234A. Okay. Now there is 234B. Sorry, 234. Just a second. No? Just a second, guys. There is 234F also. 234F. F means fees. Guys, F means fees. Fees for delay in filing ROI. See, whether you pay your taxes on time, after the due date, 234A interest coming, not coming will not make any difference. If you have delayed in filing your ROI. So for the delay in filing your return of income, a fees is charged under 234F. So there is one section 234F, okay, which talks about fees for default in filing ROI. So if your return is not filed, if you have filed your return after the due date, then there will be a fees which will be charged, and that fees is flat 5,000 rupees. Flat 5,000 rupees. Okay. And rupees 1,000 if total income is not more than 5 lakhs. Then the fees will be 1,000. So if your total income is not more than 5 lakhs and still you have delayed in filing the return, still you have defaulted in filing the return, then the fees will be 1,000. But if your total income is more than 5 lakhs and you have defaulted in filing your return of income, then the fees will be 5,000. Then it will not be 1,000, then it will be flat 5,000. Now see, delay in return, not delay, I'll write default. Default in return filing, and as a result of this, there is a delay in payment of tax also. So for this purpose, 234A interest will also come and 234F fees will also come, because there are two problems. Return default is there, and as a result of that default, there is a default in payment of tax also, delay in payment of tax also. So 234A interest for delay in payment of tax and 234F default in filing the return. But sometimes it might happen that there is a default in return filing, but entire tax is already paid on or before due date of RO. So here 234A interest will not come. Why? Because entire tax is already paid. Because of delay in filing the return, because of default in filing the return, there is no delay in payment of tax. Because the entire tax you have already paid on or before the due date. No tax is required to be paid now. So since all the tax, entire tax you have already paid on or before the due date of filing your ROI, only the return filing has been delayed, 234A interest will not come. Getting my point? Hello sir? But that does not mean that 234F fees will not come. 234F fees will come definitely for delay in filing the return. So 234A interest for delay in payment of tax, which is happening because of delay in filing the return. How that interest will be calculated, the calculation I have already told. Apply this formula, it will be calculated. Just for the sake of your understanding, I am teaching you all this. Okay, no, it is not asked in the exams, but still it is there, so we have to learn it once. Okay, understanding what I am trying to tell you? Hello. Now second last 234B is there. This is interest for wrong estimation of your advance tax liability. Meaning, during the previous year, advance tax paid is less than advance tax payable. Advance tax paid in the previous year, and which you come to know, advance tax payable, which you will come to know in the assessment year. So in the assessment year, when you will finally calculate your total income, when you will finally calculate your tax liability, from that tax liability you will reduce the TDS amount, you will reduce your relief amount, you will reduce your AMT credit, yes or no? All those amounts you will reduce. You will come to know that okay, advance tax payable was 10,000 or more. So whatever amount you calculate in the assessment year as advance tax payable, that was the actual amount which you should have paid during the previous year. Okay. So how much you should actually pay, that you will come to know in assessment year. And against that you have to compare that how much you have paid. Now actual amount paid is less as compared to whatever it was payable. Then you have to see here 234B interest will apply. But 234B apply only if advance tax paid is less than 90% of advance tax payable. So whatever advance tax which was payable, at least 90% of that you should have paid. No, you have paid less than that also. Understanding? So if advance tax actually paid by you is less than 90% of advance tax payable, advance tax payable you will come to know in the assessment year when you will make the calculation. What is your total income? What is your tax liability? From that tax liability, TDS amount is reduced, TCS amount is reduced, then AMT credit is reduced, then relief under section 89. After reducing all these amounts, some balance tax will be there. This amount is 10,000 or more. Yes, then this is advance tax payable, which you come to know in the assessment year. Now from this amount you will compare the advance tax which you have actually paid during the previous year. 90% of the advance tax payable or more you should have paid, but bloody you have paid less than 90% also. Then 234B will be attractive and interest will be calculated under 234B. How much interest, sir? So interest will be advance tax payable minus advance tax paid. This is the amount of advance tax which you have not paid. This is the amount of default multiplied by 1% per month or part of the month and multiplied by delay period. And boss, delay period will be counted from first day of the assessment year only, because this advance tax you should have paid in the previous year itself, which you have not paid in the previous year. So we'll count the delay from the first day of the assessment year itself. Yes or no? So delay period will be counted from first day of assessment year till the date of actual payment of tax liability, that balance tax. Understanding? Hello? So the advance tax which you should have paid minus the advance tax you actually paid. So whatever advance tax you failed to pay during the previous year, on that you will pay 1% interest. 1% for per month delay or even part of the month's delay, you will pay interest 1%. And that delay will be counted from first day of the assessment year itself till the date of actual payment of that balance tax. Getting my point? Hello, everyone? But 234B will be attracted only if advance tax paid is less than 90% of advance tax payable. Because since it is an estimation, no? And because of estimation, we are giving you a benefit of doubt of 10%. But if it is less than 90% also, no? Then it was your negligence. You should have at least paid 90% or a higher amount. But if you are not paying 90% also, less than that also you are paying, then it was a wrong estimation of advance tax, gross negligence, and for that we are going to charge you interest under 234B. Okay, sir? And next one, 234C. 234C. This is interest for default in advance tax installments. So any advance tax installment which was supposed to be paid 15th June, 15th September, 15th December, 15th March, whatever installment which was supposed to be paid, if you have not paid that installment, you have paid less than that. So for the default in advance tax installments also, interest will be charged. Understanding? So for default in first installment, interest will be charged. So how will you calculate? 15% of advance tax payable minus advance first installment actually paid. Actually paid. This is the default. So if you have paid less amount as compared to 15%, so how much less amount you have paid? That is your default. For that default, 1% will be charged, and that too also for 3 months, because the next installment is going to come after 3 months. Yes or no? For example, 2 lakh was the advance tax payable. In the assessment year, you came to know that advance tax payable was 2 lakhs. So 15% of that will be 30,000. So you should have paid how much installment? 30,000. But how much you have actually paid? 20,000. Have you paid 30 or less than 30? Less than 30. How much? 20 only. So is there a default? Yes. How much? 10,000. On that 10,000, 1% for 3 months you will pay interest under 234C. But wait. If at least 12% of advance tax payable is paid as first installment, then no interest under section 234C. How much you were supposed to pay? 2 lakh into 15%. 30,000, no? Did you pay 30? No. Then at least you should have paid 12%. 24,000 at least. We would not have charged interest. At least you should have paid 24. But bloody you have not paid that 24 also. Less than 24. You have paid only 20. Hence there is a default and we are charging what? Interest. What if you have actually paid 27,000? Have you paid less than 30? Yes. Less than 15%? Yes. But since you have paid more than 12%, more than 24,000, there will be no interest. Because you have actually paid how much? 27,000. 27,000 is less than 30. But it is still more than 24. So no interest will be charged for first installment. But have you paid 30? No. Have you paid 24? No. Bloody you have paid only 20. So default is 30 minus 20, 10,000. On that entire default you are going to pay 1%. For how much? 3 months. Understood or not? Hello? Second installment. Now can there be a default in second installment? Yes, default in second installment can be there. So how much you are supposed to pay? 45% of advance tax payable minus first installment actually paid. Okay. So the balance is second installment payable. So 45% should be paid till 15 September. So 45% of advance tax payable minus the first installment actually paid, meaning the balance amount should have been paid as second installment. Yes or no? But have you paid this much amount? No, you have paid less than this amount. So minus second installment actually paid. So this is the amount of default. Okay. For this default also 1% will be charged for 3 months. For example, come on, tell me how much was your advance tax payable? 2 lakhs. 45% of that, 2 lakh into 45%, 90,000. So till 15 September you should pay how much? 90,000, no? Out of that 20,000 you have paid as first installment. So 90 minus 20, 70,000 should be your second installment. You should have paid 70,000. But how much you have paid actually? Only 40,000. Have you paid 70? No. You have paid less than 70. How much? Only 40. So there is a default, no? How much? 30,000. On that 1% for 3 months. 234C interest. But wait. If at least 36% of advance tax payable is actually paid till 15 September, then also no interest under section 234C. So you are given, again you are given immunity. See, 45% you are not paying, no problem. Calculate 36%. 2 lakh into 36% will be 72,000. Till 15 September, at least pay 72,000. Out of that 20,000 you have paid in the first installment, meaning that balance 52,000 you should have paid as second installment. But bloody, you are not paying that 52,000 only. Also, you are paying less than that, 40 only. First of all, 45% is 90,000. 45% of 2 lakh, 90,000. Minus first installment, you have actually paid 20,000. So 70,000 you should have paid. Have you paid 70,000? No, you have paid only 40. So default is 30. On that default, we'll charge interest. Yes or no? But we would not charge that interest also if you would have at least paid 36% and not 45. So instead of calculating 45%, now calculate 36%. So 2 lakh into 36% will be 72. Out of 72, 20,000 you have paid in first installment. So how much you should have paid as second installment? At least 52 you should have paid. Not 70, but at least 52 you should have paid. But bloody, you have not paid this 52 also. You have paid only 40. Hence this interest will also come. But what if you have paid 60,000 at second installment? Then even if you have paid less than 70, but still you have paid more than 52, there will be no interest. Getting my point? Hello, sir. And next one. Now there is a default. Default in third installment. How much should be the third installment? Come on, tell me. 75%. So 2 lakh into 75% will be 1 lakh 50. Out of that first installment, how much you have paid? 20,000. Second installment, how much you have paid? 40,000. So 1 lakh 50 minus 20,000 minus 40,000, how much is remaining? 1 lakh 20 minus first installment you have already paid 20, second installment you have already paid 40. How much is the balance? 90,000. Sorry, 90,000. 1 lakh 50 minus first installment 20,000 minus second installment 40,000. So how much should be your third installment? It should be 90,000, no? How much is it? Wait. Let me calculate. 1 lakh 50 minus 20 minus 40. Yes, it should be 90,000. Third installment should be 90,000. But how much actually you have paid? You have paid only 75,000. Meaning, have you paid 90? No, less than 90. So there is a default in third installment also. For that 1%. And for how many months? 3 months. So for the third installment default, there will be interest at the rate of 1% for 3 months. And here there will be no relaxation. Relaxation is only for first 2 installment. Okay. And how much should be the last installment? 100% of 2 lakhs. Hello. 100% of 2 lakhs will be 2 lakh rupees. Minus first installment you have paid 20,000. Second installment you have paid 40,000. So 2 lakh minus first installment 20,000 I have paid. Minus 40,000 second installment also I have paid. And third installment I have paid 65,000. Example. So 75,000 should be my last installment to make the total 2 lakhs. Yes or no? But how much I have paid? I have paid only 10,000. So there is a default of 65,000 on that 1%. But now this will not be for 3 months. This will be only for 1 month. Because last installment, now after 3 months, there is no installment. Only 15 days are remaining. Yes or no? Hello, sir. So for that 15 days, part of the month, 1 month will be counted. For 1 month, there will be interest. So 234C, first installment, second installment, third installment, default for first 3 installment for 3 months. And last installment, default is there, interest will be for 1 month. Understanding? And you must be having my advanced tax notes. In that advanced tax notes, I have given one example in the end of my notes. Okay. See that example, you will understand whatever calculations have been done. So with this, the chapter comes to an end and the syllabus also comes to an end. Okay, sir? Hello, sir? So, any other doubt, any other query, any other problem, I am available for the discussion. You can ask. And if no problems, no questions, no confusions, then also if you want you can talk. I am available for talking also. Now I am free. Come on.